Chapter 8, Hypothesis Testing. A statistical hypothesis is conjecture about a population parameter. This conjecture may or may not be true. Jadi we have the hypothesis lah. Jadi hypothesis ni, if you still remember, you already learned during your school years. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, it's about the early prediction, or we want to conjecture, okay, something about the populations that we want to test whether it's true or not. Okay, something about the population, whether we want to test it true or not. Statement about the population, whether we want to test it, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Then we have the hypothesis testing. Okay, statistical hypothesis. We have the null hypothesis, symbol as a H0 there. Null is 0 lah. State that there is no difference. Okay, this one I take from the books here, page 414. Page 414. It's not something that I create myself. Jadi dalam buku ni tulis beritahu no difference between parameter. That's why you need to set up in your mind when we said about null hypothesis, no difference. The book tell you that when we said about null hypothesis, no difference between parameter or specific value, or there is no difference between two parameter. Please, you must make sure that you understand clearly, or when people said about null hypothesis, it means no difference between the parameter, between the new statement and the old statement, no difference. We have the statement about the population. Maybe about the population, the statement is the mean is 70. The new statement about the sample that we take is about 71. Then we said that there is no difference between the new statement and the old statement. Okay, while for the alternate hypothesis, symbol by H1. Okay, the alternate hypothesis is the first hypothesis that we want to test. We call as a H1, or maybe we have more than one hypothesis, alternative hypothesis. Then we can put it as a H2, H3, H4, H5, or other thing lah. Okay, hypothesis, statistical hypothesis that state there is a existence of difference between parameter and a specific value, or state that there is a difference between two parameter. Okay, if the H null is they have a difference, there no difference, but for the alternative hypothesis there is a difference. Okay, example 8.1. Okay, example 8.1. We want to see that how we want to write up the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Macam mana kita nak tulis? Okay, I read lah. A researcher think that if expectant mother use vitamin pill, the birth weight of the baby will increase. Of course lah, we have the birth weight of the babies on average based on the population study. We have the mean, we have the standard deviation. But now, because of taking certain pills, believe that it affect the baby weight. Baby weight will be higher compared to the what we have in the populations, what we have in the mean of population, what we have in the standard deviation for the population. Then we want to test whether the new weight is similar to the old weight or not. Okay, the average birth weight of the population is 8.6 pound. Then how we want to write the hypothesis? Jadi macam mana kita nak tulis? Jadi kita ada null hypothesis, and then we write the mean here, ya. Okay, equals to 8.6. Jadi the average weight of the population, currently the population birth weight is 8.6. Sekarang ni dia bagi tahu it increase after taking that pill. That mean alternative hypothesis H1 for the mean is greater than 8.6. That is how we write the hypothesis. For this type of question, okay, if we going through for the next example to another example, write up the hypothesis will be 1 marks, okay, 1 marks, or maybe 2 marks. That's why it's very important. This question, this type of question is a favorite question for the test, for the final, okay. It always come out, it always asks you to write the hypothesis, the full, okay, the full statement about the hypothesis. Please make sure you understand and also have the ability to write whether it increase, decrease, or equal or not equal. An engineer B, we go to B. An engineer hypothesized that the mean number of defects can be decreased in a manufacturing process. Okay, mean of defect can be decreased. The mean number of defective per 1,000 is 18. We want it to be decreased because the defect itself is not good for the company, right? That means here we believe that with the new process, new technology, it can be decreased. Number of defect can be decreased. When it's decreased, it's less than what we have already in the population. You know how to write? The first one is H null. Null is 0 lah. It equals to 18. Okay. And then for the alternative hypothesis, less than 18. Okay, that is the hypothesis testing. Okay, we write up the hypothesis statement. And then we have a C. Psychologists feel that playing soft music during the test will change the results. The psychologist not sure whether the grade will be higher or lower. In the past, mean of the score was 73. Here we have statement of higher and lower. Jadi they just not sure whether it will improve the test or not improve the test. Maybe some people they have a learning ability better when they hear the music. But some people, when they hear the music during learning process, it's a distraction for them. It's a very disturbing for them. They want to have a quiet environment. Then they doesn't know whether it increase or decrease. That's why in this hypothesis statement, the null hypothesis mean equals to 73, H1 not equal to 73. Maybe it influence the result in the good way, maybe is influenced not in the good way, or maybe doesn't influence at all. It's similar, it's no different. You have a music or you do not have the music, is similar. Okay, that's why that is the first one, how to write the hypothesis. Okay, how to write the hypothesis, how to state the hypothesis. This one you can have 1 marks, yeah, and you write the hypothesis. Okay, we have another one. This statement also is very important because there is a semester asking about this. Okay, previously there was a semester asking about this statement. When we do the hypothesis, we do a conjecture about the future or currently what what happened, then sometime it has a error. Dia ada error dalam kita punya statement tu. Dan error ni kalau dalam dunia statistikal is not good lah. Dia sesuatu yang tak bagus. Sebab apa? Bila dia error, maksudnya kita buat salah. Jadi bila kita buat salah, kita bagi pendapat yang tak betul lah. Okay, kita bagi pendapat yang tak betul. Jadi hopefully we are not doing that. And the statistic that we use is not going on that direction. Dia tak pergi ke arah tu. Okay. Jadi apa possibility yang tak kena ni? Kita reject null hypothesis. Kita reject ni, kita bagi tahu yang null hypothesis tu salah. Dia ada beza antara current one dengan old one. Okay. Padahal dia betul. Padahal yang statement tu betul. Dia sebenarnya tidak ada beza. Tapi kita bagi tahu dia ada beza. Salah lah statement dia kan. There will be incorrect decision. Will result in type 1 error. Itu tu bagi type 1 error. Bila kita reject null hypothesis, kita terima alternate hypothesis. Okay. Second, we reject null hypothesis when it is false. Okay, kita reject null hypothesis when it is false. This will be correct decision. Okey lah, ni betul lah ya, correct decision. Sebab apa? Sebab kita reject null hypothesis sebab dia salah. Memang patutlah kalau kita kena reject null hypothesis kalau dia salah. It's a good decision lah, correct decision. Kita reject null hypothesis because it false. It's not equal. Then reject null hypothesis. We do not reject null hypothesis when it is true. Okay. Ini pun tak ada masalah juga. Kita do not reject null hypothesis when it's true. They will be correct decision. Ini tak ada masalah. We do not reject null hypothesis when it is false. Sekejap apa saya tulis ni? We do not reject null hypothesis when it is false. This will be incorrect decision will result in type 2 error. Jadi, kita tak reject null hypothesis. Padahal dia salah. Okay? Yang pertama ni berbeza sebab kita reject null hypothesis sebab dia betul. Yang ini, kita tak reject null hypothesis. Kita beritahu null hypothesis tu betul, padahal dia salah. Yang ini, dia type 2 error. Okay? Type 2 error. Jadi, sini ada 2 error lah. Jadi bila kita reject null hypothesis, apabila dia betul, maksudnya kita terima alternative hypothesis untuk yang first one ni. We accept the alternative hypothesis to be correct. Kalau yang nombor 4 ni, we do not reject null hypothesis when it false ni. Kalau kita tak terima alternative hypothesis tu sebagai betul, selalunya kita akan tak reject lah null hypothesis. Jadi kalau dunia statistik ni dia tak adalah kritikal sangat ya. Bukanlah sampai kata bermasalah terlalu besar sangat. Jadi masalah reject, masalah terima betul salah ni selalunya mahkamah lah kan. Kalau seseorang itu melakukan jenayah, jadi bila dia lakukan jenayah, dia akan didakwa di mahkamah. Jadi bila pendakwaan berlaku, didapati dia tidak bersalah. Okey, didapati dia tidak bersalah. Atau didapati dia bersalah. Kita pergi first dululah. Didapati dia bersalah. Padahal dia tak bersalah. Jadi itu masalah cukup besar lah. Sebab apa? Sebab dia tak buat salah tu. Tapi kita hukum dia atas kesalahan yang kita sangka dia buat. That's error. Error ya. Error tu sangat teruk sebab kita dah hukum dia padahal dia tak buat kesalahan tu. Tapi untuk yang nombor 4 ni, kita dakwa dia atas kesalahan sesuatu, kemudian dia didapati tidak bersalah. Padahal dia buat kesalahan tu. Yang ini dia punya tingkat berat dia tu, weightage dia tu kurang sikit lah. Sekurang-kurangnya kita tak hukum orang yang tidak bersalah, berbanding yang nombor 1 error 1 tu, dia lagi teruk lah, sebab kita hukum orang atas sesuatu yang dia tak buat. Okey, walaupun dua-dua teruk jugalah error kan. Bila sebut error ni sesuatu yang kita kalau boleh nak elakkan dalam kehidupan kita. Hopefully you understand. For this statement, you can read further on page 418 and 419. Okay, we go to 8.2. 8.2. Using table E, appendix C, find the critical value for each of the situation and draw appropriate figure showing the critical region. Jadi this one you need to draw lah. Saya ambil open ni lah. Okay, we have the graph here. Maybe we can have 3 graph. For A, saya guna warna merah lah. For a left test with alpha 0.1. A left tail test. Left tail here lah. Okay, alpha here is 0.1. Jadi we need to find the critical region based on the Z score. The Z here lah, Z alpha. And then for B, a two-tail test when alpha is 0.02. Jadi kita ada two tail here. Kita ada alpha 0.02. Jadi bila kita ada two tail, we need divide by 2, 0.01. That means the area here is 0.01 area. A two tail. And then we have the right tail here, alpha 0.05. Okay, and then you find lah the Z score. Z alpha divided by 2, Z alpha. What is the Z? Nak tunjuk juga ke? Padahal dah buat dah sebelum ni banyak kali dah. Tunjuk pi lah. Mereka pun kata kat saya tak ajar pula. Okay, the first one alpha 0.1. Of course lah, ini tak ada kan 0.1. Dia supposedly dia ada 0.9. But 1 minus 0.1 equals to 0.9. Jadi cari 0.9. Where is 0.9? Okay, it can be here or here. The answer 1.28. Okay, 1.28. Jadi this one will be negative 1.28. Sebab apa? Sebab di bahagian left side. And then we have this one, a two tail with alpha 0.02. 0.01. Jadi 1 minus 0.01 equals to 0.99. Is it similar? Ni, here. Okay. 2.33. 2.33 and negative 2.33. Dia ada dua lah. Dia ada negative 2.33, 2.33. And then we have this one 0.005. The 1 minus 0.005 equals to 0.995. 0.995. Where is 0.995? 995 here. You can take this or this, doesn't matter lah ya. Dia lari, dia tak jauh sangat lah. 2.5, 2.56 or 2.57, 2.56 or 2.57. Satu je dia punya beza dia tu. Don't worry too much lah. Okay, jadi kita ada kat sini 2.56. Okay, similar lah, boleh lah terima. Now we move to next question. Do for the Z test. Okay, Z test. Kita nak buat Z test sekarang ni. Dia ada step sampai step yang ke-5. Okay, dia ada 5 step you need to understand. Okay, up until step yang ke-5 ni. Dia ada step 1 hypothesis writing, step 2 critical value, step 3 test value, step 4 decision, step 5 result and summarize result. In Pennsylvania, the average IQ score is 101.5. The variable is normally distributed and the population standard deviation is 15. A school superintendent claimed that the student in her school district have a IQ higher than the average 101.5. She select random sample of 30 students and find mean of the test score is 106.4. Test the claim at alpha 0.05. Here we have the IQ score 101. We have the population for the Pennsylvania here. The IQ score is 101. Kemudian we have the standard deviation for the population is 15. Kemudian and then we have a school where it claimed that her school district have higher IQ. That means we have a new statement here from a sample saying that her school is better compared to what we have in the state of Pennsylvania. Then she select 30 students and then they find the mean 106.4. Roughly, kalau kita tengok roughly, memanglah test score for the 30 student is higher, 106. But we need to confirm it with the statistical analysis, whether it prove that this 106 is higher from the 101.5 or not. Okay, then we need to prove it using the statistical analysis. But roughly, if we look at the number, kita tengok nombor tu 106 and 101. Of course 106 is much better lah, okay, compared to 101. But however, we need to prove it using the statistical analysis from step 1 up until step 5. Doing the hypothesis testing, we test the hypothesis whether the null hypothesis is true or we reject the null hypothesis. There are two decision here. Ada dua apa yang kita boleh buat. Yang the first one, we accept the null hypothesis. We cannot reject null hypothesis. Second one, we reject null hypothesis. Okay, we reject null hypothesis. Now we do for the hypothesis first. We write up what is the null hypothesis. Sorry, dah tulis itu. Mean equals to 101.5. Where we get 101 is a mean for the population. And then for the alternate, mean greater than, because they find it better, higher IQ, then the greater null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis, sorry. This one is the claim lah. Then we need to find the critical value. Because of this one is higher, then this one is the right tail. Okay, dia duduk pada kawasan sini. duduk pada kawasan situ, alpha dia 0.05. We need to find a Z score. What is the value for the Z score? We need to use table E. Table E. 0.05. We cannot use 0.05. We need to minus with 0.05, 0.95. Okay. Kalau kamu nak guna yang atas pun boleh jugalah. It's up to you lah ya. Kalau nak guna yang atas boleh terus cari 0.05. Yang ini kena tengok kat sini lah. 0.95. 0.95. Okay, we have here and here. We can choose lah anything that you want. 1.65. Okay, 1.65. The Z score is 1.65. Then we get the critical value. After that, we do for the test value. This is a formula for the test value. Here we have the sample because we have 30 sample. Please do remember, if the sample size 30 and above, we using Z test. We using Z test. If below than 30, we using T test. And then if the question involve proportion, we using the Z test also, but the formula quite different. And then if the question giving you information about the standard deviation or variance, then we do the chi-square test. We need to use table G. If T test, we using table F. Do make sure that you understand, you know when to use table E, F and G. The E, F and G. Okay. What is the value for the mean? The new mean is 106.4. The population mean is 101.5. The standard deviation is 15. We need to extract out all the information so that we can easily insert into the formula. Okay, 106.4 minus 101.5 dividing by the 15 30. Okay, you can calculate using the calculator. Here we have, okay, in bracket 106.4 minus 101.5, and then at the bottom we have another fifteenth square root 30, 1.7789. That is the test value, 1.789 or 1.79. Okay, that is for the test value. Then we go to the step 4 decision. Okay, step 4 decision. What is the location of the 1.79 here? 1.79 location is here. Here is the for the null hypothesis region. Okay, the location here is for the null hypothesis region, but for this one is the location for the alternate hypothesis. This is the places for the alternate hypothesis. This is the places for the null hypothesis. If our test value falls on the null hypothesis, we cannot reject null hypothesis. Sekali lagi ya, if our test value, this one is test value ya, false, dia jatuh ataupun dia berada dalam null hypothesis, we cannot reject null hypothesis. Tapi kalau dia false on the alternative hypothesis, then we reject null hypothesis. Sebab dia dah betul kan, dia dah dapat buktikan claim tu memang betul dia jatuh dekat alternative hypothesis. Dia jatuh dekat U1 ni. U1 pula dah. Ini bukan U1, H1. Ini adalah H null. Jadi apa kita tulis? Yang ni sepatutnya kamu boleh tengok dalam buku lah. Since test value 1.79 greater than critical value 1.65 here, 1.65, decision is to reject null hypothesis. Okay, decision is to reject null hypothesis. That's our decision, because of it fall on the critical value higher than the 1.65. Then we need to summarize the result. When we want to summarize the result, is basically based on the what the question is, what the statement all about. Okay, what's the main point here? Then we summarize. There is enough evidence to support the claim IQ of student is higher than state average IQ. Okay, that is how we do it. We have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Please make sure that you understand this. And the most difficult one for the student here, how they want to know whether to reject or accept null hypothesis. But this one, it falls on the alternative hypothesis. Sebab if you still understand that 101.5 ni okay, is the mean. 101.5 is the mean. And then we have the 106.4. 106.4 ni dekat sini ni. 106.4 tu dekat situ, that we change it to the critical value. That mean this part, this region is for the alternative hypothesis. This region is for the null hypothesis. If the test value falls on the alternative hypothesis, we reject null hypothesis. If it falls on the null hypothesis region here, then we accept. We cannot reject null hypothesis. Okay, we need to compare the test value and the critical value. Here we call as a critical value. Yeah. This one is test value. Test value ni come from the new data set. 30 student, 106.4, the new data set. So that we can test whether the null hypothesis is accepted or we can reject the null hypothesis. That's for the 8.3. Now we move to 8.4. For a specific year, the average score on SAT math test was 515. The variable is normally distributed. Population standard deviation is 100. The same superintendent in the previous example wish to see if her student score significantly below national average on the test, she randomly selected 36 student score as shown. Alpha 0.01. Is there enough evidence to support the claim? The question here is quite similar to the previous one, but here we have below, and this one they are higher than, kan? This one is below. And another thing that you need to know, that here you need to find the mean by yourself. Okay, kamu kena calculate lah the mean. Just add up everything, divide by numbers of the data. Okay, we extract out all the information first. We have the mean equals to 515, and then we have the standard deviation of 100, and then we have the sample of 36. We have the alpha of 0.1. That's all the information. And if you look at page 429, the mean equals to 509.2 509.028. Okay, that is the mean. Why I extract out all the information? Because it will be easier for us lah, so that we can use the formula and insert all the information. Okay, we go to the step 1, hypothesis. Okay, we need to write the hypothesis, the null hypothesis, and also the alternate hypothesis. We have the mean equals to 515. Here the mean, yeah. And for the alternate hypothesis, below, when it said about below, they're less than 515. Now we move to the critical value, the alpha 0.1, below. When it below is the left tail. Okay, yeah, Z alpha. We need to find the Z score for the area 0.1. But we cannot use 0.1. We need to use 0.9. Okay, we need to use 0.9 because all the information inside here is higher than 0.5. I already explained many times about this one, yeah. Jadi hopefully you understand and know how to find the how to find the Z score. Then 0.9, after do the searching, okay, here is the location lah. What is the value? 1.28. 1.28. The answer will be 1.28. However, this is on the left tail, left sides of the graph. We cannot put 1.28. Is a wrong Z score. The answer will be negative 1.28. Negative 1.28. Okay, finish about the critical value. Then we move to this one using table E, ya. Kamu jangan pergi buat guna table lain pula, table E. Now we move to the step 3, test value. This test value, we will use the mean for the sample. Okay, mean for the sample of 36. We insert the value 509.028 minus with 515. This mean for the population. Okay, mean for the population there, and then divide by the standard deviation 100. Divide by 36, and then of course lah you using calculator. 509.028 minus 505, and then at the denominator 100 divide by square root 36 equals to negative 0.358. Negative 0.358, or the equal approximately equals to negative 0.36. That is the test value. Then when you found the test value, you try to compare it with the critical value. What is the value of the critical value? What is the test value location? Okay, first of all, you need to understand that this area, the green one, compared to the red one, the green one is the H null, the red one is her H1. If test value located at the H null, then we cannot reject null hypothesis. If the test value located at H null, we cannot reject null hypothesis. If the test value located at H1, we reject null hypothesis. That means from the data, from the new data of 36, we found that the mean itself, or the data or the claim, it falls on the alternate hypothesis. Okay, for negative 0.36, it falls before the critical region, that is negative 1.28. That means we cannot reject null hypothesis. Step 4. Okay, you need to write it on the full sentence here. Kamu boleh refer to page 4 to 9. How it write the sentence. Make the decision since the test value negative 0.36 falls on the non-critical region. This one is a non-critical region. Why I write it as a null region? Because I want to I want to what the words, saya nak tunjuk kepada kamu lah yang H null ni at this part. Okay, alternate hypothesis alternate ni at this part. Jadi kalau dia jatuh dekat kawasan sini, we cannot reject null hypothesis. Okay, falls on the H null. Jadi this one dia falls on the non-critical region. Yang ni juga kita panggil sebagai non-critical region. Okay, and then you need to have the step 5. Explain based on the information given. Okay, you need to summarize the result. That how you do for the 8.4. Now we move to 8.5. Okay, 8.5. 8.5 in the page 430. The Medical Rehabilitation Education Foundation report that the average cost of rehabilitation of stroke victim 24,672. To see the average cost of rehabilitation is different at particular hospital, a researcher select at random 35 stroke victim at the hospital and find that the average cost 26,343. The standard deviation of population is 3,251. At alpha equals to 0.01, can it be concluded the average cost of stroke particular hospital is different from the 24,000. Here we have a different. It doesn't show the less or the greater, below or above. Okay. Alright, now the first one, what you need to do, you extract out all the information first. You have the mean 24,672. Okay, and then the mean for sample 26,343. Number of sample you have 35. Okay, and the standard deviation, what is the standard deviation? 3251. And then we go to the step 1 first, hypothesis. You need to write out the hypothesis. We have here the mean equals to 24,672, and the alternative hypothesis not equals to 4,672. Why not equal? Because it doesn't mention is it above or below. Then the alternative hypothesis will be difference. null hypothesis always the same. Null hypothesis always the same. It become the rules and regulation when I explain at the first part of this video. Now we move the alpha. Alpha is 0.01. Okay, the alpha 0.01. Okay, because of the not equal, it means it's two tail. It have tail for the left, tail for the right. Okay, that means the alpha need to be divided by 2. 0.005. Okay, 0.005. How we get the 0.005? We divide by 2. This alpha divide by 2, this one divide by 2. Clear? Jadi that mean for the z, alpha divide by 2, z alpha divide by 2. Here we have the area of 0.005. Now we need to minus with 1. 1 minus 0.005 equals to 0.995. We try to find 0.995. What is 0.995? Okay, here. You can use here, you can use here. Okay. 2.58. Okay. Jadi equals to 2.58 equals to negative 2.58. You have a two side here. Okay. Please make sure you understand. Here is the location for the H1, or kita panggil sebagai H1 pula, H null, non critical region. This one we call as a critical region. This one also we call as a critical region. This one for the H1, this one for the H1. Now we want to see the test value. The test value, it falls on what area, what region. If the test value falls on the H1 or critical region, we reject null hypothesis. Reject null hypothesis. If not, we cannot reject null hypothesis if it falls on the this one. Okay, if fall on this one, we cannot reject null hypothesis. Okay, now we've tried to find the test value. Okay, try to find the test value. What is the mean? 26345 minus with 24672 divide by standard deviation 3251 divide by square root 35. Using a calculator, 26345 minus 24672. Please make sure you push, you using calculator correctly ya. Saya pun kadang-kadang salah juga guna. Tapi saya tak jawab exam, kamu yang jawab exam. Jadi you need to be very careful. Okay, square root 35 equals to 3.044. Okay, it falls on the critical region. It fall on the critical region. Saya besarkan sikit. It fall on the critical region. Tak nampak sangat kan? Fall on the critical region 3.044. Okay, when it fall on the critical region, we reject null hypothesis. Okay, you need to reject null hypothesis. Reject H null. Please write it in the full sentence ya. Why we reject null hypothesis? Do refer to page 430 lah. and then you need to summarize the result, make it in full sentence. What is the all about? What is this all about? Yang ni tentang apa ni? Apa benda yang kita reject based on the information on the paragraph itself. Okay. Now we move to 8.6. Okay, 8.6, they want you to use the p-value method. Okay, I will do for you. Okay, for p-value method, I will teach you in the class lah. But for this one, try to use the critical region. Okay, try to use the critical region. Or do I need to teach you now? I teach lah. Yes, saya tunjuk lah ya. Nanti saya terlupa. A researcher wish to test the claim that the average cost of tuition and fee at 4-year public college is greater than 5,700. She select a random sample of 36 4-year public college and find the mean to be 5,950. The population standard deviation is 659. Is there enough evidence to support the claim at alpha 0.05? Use p-value method. Okay. Now we use p-value method. P-value method is very important because when you use SPSS, they will give you p-value. Okay, they will give you p-value when you use the SPSS. This one is very important so that you can understand how to read the statistical result from the SPSS. Okay, we extract out all the information first. First is the mean. I need to change it to, okay, first is the mean, the new mean from sample, standard deviation, alpha. The mean 5,700, random 36, new mean 5,950, standard deviation 9 for 0.05. Okay, and then write the hypothesis. We need to write the hypothesis. Here we have the greater, that's mean null equals to 5,700. Here we have the greater than 5,700. This one is one tail. Okay, one tail at the right tail lah. Right. Here we have the alpha z alpha equals to, this one is the h null, this one h1, this one is the non-critical region, this one is the critical region. Using the table, okay, using the table, alpha is 0.05. Jadi alpha 0.05, that's mean we need to use 0.95. 0.95 we have here and here, 1.65. 1.65. Okay, atau tak payah, no need lah, no need. Kita go directly to the test value. We do the test value because I want to show you the p-value method. Saya pun jarang guna p-value method ni. 5,950 minus with 5,700 divide by standard deviation 659 divide by square root n 36. Then what is the value? We have the 5950 minus 5700, and then we have 65 square root 36. Okay, we get the value 2.276. The Z alpha equals to 2.276. Okay, the critical region here, the alpha value is 0.05. Okay, saya pindah sat sebab pening nanti kamu nak tengok sini. Ke sini saya pindah. Jadi here we have the 0.05. 0.05. This is the value here, 0.05. But then when we get the value here lesser than 0.05, we reject null hypothesis. Sebab kalau kita dapat value greater than 0.05, dia akan jatuh pada kawasan sini. It will fall on this area kalau kita dapat dia more than 0.05. Tapi kalau kita dapat dia lesser than 0.05, then it falls on the alternate hypothesis, or it fall on the critical region. This one is critical region, this one is non-critical region. Jadi kita kena cari ni. Sebab ini adalah Z score. Kita kena cari dia punya area. 2.27. Okay. 0.9884. Because they give you find this region. Kita tak nak this region, kita nak this region. Jadi kita kena minus dengan 1. Okay. 1 minus 0.9884. Okay. The answer will be 0.0116. Jadi maksudnya dia ni 0.5 kan, 0.05. Sekarang ni kita dapat nilai, saya padam semua ni. Okey, semua ni ganggu. Kita ada dekat sini. Setakat ni nilai dia adalah 0.05. Tapi sekarang ni kita dapat test value, dia lagi kecil. Macam mana lagi kecil? Lagi kecil. Dia dekat sini dia jatuh, yang mana dia nilai dia 0.01. Maksudnya it falls on the critical region. It fall on the critical region, so that we reject null hypothesis. Okay, we reject null hypothesis. Boleh tak ni? Sama lah ya. Memang dalam buku teks tu 0.011. Saya dapat 0.0113. Saya dapat 0.0116. Tapi dia not really that far. Okay, not really that far. Jadi kita ada step 4 and also step 5. You need to write the step 4 and step 5. Okay, 8.7. Do I need to do it for you, or you can try it by yourself? Kamu cubalah ya. Kalau tak boleh nanti in classes we repeat again. Saya tunjuk sekali lagi lah. Sekali ke, 2 kali ke, 3 kali ke, no problem. Tapi kamu kena request lah. Kalau kamu tak request, saya fahamkan yang kamu faham lah. Okay, do request untuk this one. Okay, and then we have the T test. Okay, T test. T distribution is similar to standard normal distribution. If bell shape, symmetrical about the mean, mean mod median equals to 0, allocated at center of distribution. The curve approach but never touch axis. The variance is greater than 1. The T distribution is family curve based on the degree of freedom number to related of sample size. As sample size increase, the T distribution approach the normal distribution. Sebab itulah sample size ni very important. If we have higher than 30, then we can assume for the
normal distribution. The T is defined next. Okay, you can read more about the T test here on the page 442. Okay, next we have how to find the T value. Okay, the T value already teach you about this, explain to you about this, how to find the test value. This one we using table F here. Please make sure lah. Dah sebut banyak kali table E, table F, table G, when to use this table. Okay, is similar. The assumption for T test, sample is random sample. There must be greater or equals to 13. Sorry, this is the Z test. This one is the T test, lesser than the 30. This is the step. We have still the same 5 step you need to follow lah. I will show to you one only ya. Satu saja yang saya akan tunjuk, and for the rest you do by yourself lah. Even for the P value you do by yourself, because of the it's similar. Dia benda yang sama sahaja. Okay, the medical investigation claim that the average number of infection per week at a hospital in southwestern Pennsylvania 16.3. A random sample of 10 weeks had a mean number of 17.7 infection. Sample standard deviation is 1.8. Is there enough evidence to reject investigator claim at alpha 0.05? Okay, random sample of 10 weeks. Here we have the clue what type of test we want to use. The N itself is 10. They are lesser than 30. When they are lesser than 30, we're using T test. And then we have the mean. Okay, the mean is 16.3. Please extract out all the information. Mean number for sample is 17.7. The standard deviation is 1.8. The alpha will be 0.05. We do for the step 1. The mean here it said what ya? The claim that the average number per week at southwestern Pennsylvania, a random sample had the mean sample. Is there enough claim at? Where is the question text? It's not mention below or higher. Okay, lesser or higher, dia tak mention yang ni lebih tinggi ke lebih rendah, jadi kita assume not equal lah. Okay, untuk null hypothesis dia akan sama 16.3. For the alternative hypothesis is not equal 16.3. Tak ada dalam ni dia tulis higher ataupun lesser ataupun below. Anything lah that showing benda tu lagi kurang ataupun lagi banyak, tak ada mention, jadi is not equal. Jadi bila not equal ni adalah two tail. Jadi bila two tail ni untuk T test kamu tak perlu apa? Tak perlu bahagi ya. Untuk T test tak perlu bahagi, sebab dalam table F here, table F dia dah ada two tail here. Jadi terus pergi pada 0.05 sahaja. This one. Kamu jangan pergi ambil one tail 0.025. Salah ya. Terus pergi kepada two tail 0.05. Mana pemadam, tak tahu. Okay, now we move to the critical region 0.05. Jadi critical region dia ada two tail, dia ada dua bahagian lah. Okay, kita ada T alpha divide by 2, T alpha divided by 2. Jadi kita punya degree of freedom df equals to n minus 1 equals to 10 minus 1 equals to 9. Okay, 9. Mana 9? Sini 9. Kita ada 0.05 9 0.05. What is 0.05? 2.262. 2.262. Okay, here we have 2.262. Here we have negative 2.262. Jadi tak perlu susah-susah nak bahagi macam Z test ya. Tolong ingatlah. Please do remember this. Saya dah ulang banyak kali ni. Saya pun tak tahu, kadang-kadang penat dia ulang ni. Nanti at the end kamu tak faham juga. Untuk yang table T, table F ni, no need to divide by 2. Just take to tail accordingly to the alpha value. Jadi kamu tak perlu bahagi alpha value tu lagi dah. Okay, tak perlu bahagi alpha value dah. Ambil terus je to tail. There are lah different explanation. Mungkin different lecturer, there are different way how to solve this question, how to find critical value. But at the end, the most important part, kamu dapat jawapan yang sama for the textbook. Kamu jangan tak dapat jawapan yang sama, lepas tu kamu keliru nak guna yang mana. Just follow my advice saja dah cukup sebenarnya. Okay? Kalau kamu pergi kepada lecturer lain, kemungkinan dia guna teknik lain. Bila guna teknik lain nanti, kamu dah contradict. Okay? How to find the critical value for the T test. Jadi just use my advice lah. Kalau kamu nak faham kod lain pun terpulang lah. Okay, and then we do the test value. Okay, I repeat again lah how to understand this one. This one, the shaded one is H0. If it falls on the this one is H1. This one we call as a critical region. This one we call as a critical region. This one is non-critical region. Okay, non-critical region at the middle. At the end is a critical region. If the test value falls on the critical region, we reject null hypothesis. If fall on the critical region, we reject null hypothesis. But if it falls on the non-critical region, the H null region, we cannot reject null hypothesis. But because it's similar to the null hypothesis, kita tak boleh reject sebab dia similar to the null hypothesis. Okay, now we insert the value 17.7 minus dengan 16.3 divide by standard deviation. Here is not the population, standard deviation for the sample 1.8 divide by square root 10. We tekanlah calculator ya. Saya pun guna tekan calculator, bukan nak rujuk buku sentiasa ya. Kamu kena tekan calculator. Make sure that you become expert using the calculator. Macam sekarang ni kamu guna handset kamu tu, you are expert using your handphone. Tapi tak upayalah, ada setengah orang memang dia ni, dia divide ni, divide square root 10 2.46. Okay, 2.46. Where it falls on the critical region. Dia bahagian atas ni dia jatuh. Jadi we reject null hypothesis for the step 4. Reject null hypothesis. Please make sure do write in full sentence. Kamu kena tulis dalam full sentence. Kamu jangan ikut saya. Saya ni bukan nak jawab exam. Saya nak explain to you so that you understand saja. Okay, kamu yang nak jawab exam, kamu nak markah, dan markah tu kemungkinan akan bantu kamu untuk dapat A. Jadi you need to write it in full sentence, in complete sentence, in the good way lah. And then you summarize the result. Summarize the result ini, dia mesti basically based on what question are. Question tu tentang apa. Jadi kamu kena summarize the result. Okay, 8.13 you do by yourself lah. Cubalah buat sendiri ya. Step 1 up until step 5. P value pun sama lah. Saya tak nak tunjuk lah. 8.15 pun sama juga P value. Jadi saya bagi sedikit lah ya ulangan. Kalau P value ni, first of all kita tengok dia punya alpha value dia berapa. Alpha value dia equals to 0.1. Jadi from 0.1 ni dia merujuk kepada kawasan ni. Jadi bila dia merujuk kepada kawasan tu, kita tengok dia punya T value dia. Nanti kamu akan dapat T value, test value ni. Contohnya dapat 1.3. After kamu dapat 1.3 ni, after that kamu akan dapat dia punya area. Bila kamu dapat dia punya area yang ini, kamu dapat dia punya area, kamu tengok sama ada dia lebih daripada 0.1 ataupun dia kurang daripada 0.1. Kalau dia kurang, kita reject null hypothesis. Kita reject null. Kalau dia lebih, kita cannot reject null hypothesis. Cannot reject null hypothesis. Okay. P value ni penting sebab apa? P value ni penting sebab nak faham nanti dekat SPSS. Selalunya SPSS kita ada 0.05. Jadi bila 0.05, kalau kita dapat nilai dia 0.01, maksudnya we can reject null hypothesis. Jadi kita punya claim tu betul lah. Dia ada significant difference, ada beza antara satu dengan satu yang lain. Sebab apa? Sebab kita dapat rendah berbanding 0.05. That's why the P value is important for us to understand whether we can reject null hypothesis or not, whether the statement is different or not from the null hypothesis. Tapi sebenarnya P value ni tak pernah lagi from the previous semester tanya using the P value method, tak ada lagi, tak pernah lagi. Jadi the most important part, kamu guna yang critical region, yang Z value or T value tadi, T score. Okay, yang P value method ni untuk understand how to use SPSS, yang selalunya in standard is 0.05. Jadi kalau kurang daripada 0.05 ni, 0.05 ke 0.5, ni saya check balik lah ya. Maksudnya 0.5. Kurang daripada 0.5 ni, we reject null hypothesis. We reject null hypothesis. Sebab 0.5 ni dia saya check balik lah ya. Sama ada 0.05 atau 0.5 untuk yang SPSS. Okey, boleh ya. Jadi P value method ni is for your SPSS technique. How to interpret the result from the SPSS. But in this subject, the one that been used is this one lah, yang normal way how we want to know whether to reject or accept null hypothesis. And then the P value method, try to do lah. Okay. What is this? A proportion. We have the proportion, percentage. This one in the page 454. Page 454. A researcher claimed that based on the information obtained from the Center Disease Control and Prevention, 70% of young people aged 2 to 19 are obese. To test this claim, the randomly selected 200 people aged 2 to 19, 42 were obese at alpha 0.05. Is there enough evidence to reject the claim? Okay, to reject the claim. Preventions, we have the proportion here. Please do remember we have the p hat here and divide by n. P we have for the p is the for population, yeah. P hat dia for the sample. This one is for the population. Do remember lah yang itu. Jadi we have 17% for the population. And then how to write the hypothesis? P equals to 0.17, and then the not equals to 17. Jadi kat sini dia tak bagi tahu greater atau lower, tak ada. Jadi we assume that not equal lah. Kamu kena ingat sentiasa untuk null hypothesis is always similar, between group tu dia sama, dia tak ada beza. Tapi for the null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, there are difference. Tak kira lah dia claim macam mana pun, that is the rules lah. That is the rules we need to follow. And then we have the critical value. We check the alpha 0.05. Because of this one is 2 tail, then we need to divide by 2. Because the proportion we using the z, ya. Kamu nampak tak ni kataan z kan? Jadi we need to divide by 2. If we divide by 2, 0.05 divide by 2 equals to 0.025. That means here we have z alpha z. Here is the value 0.025. 0.025. Okay, now we do need to find the z value. We move to table E. Table E, 0.025. We need to minus with 1 equals to 0.975. 0.975 minus 0.975. Okay, here 1.96 equals to 1.96 and also negative 1.96. Okay, the value here is H null or equals to non-critical region. Okay, the value here is H1. This one is for the critical region. If the test value falls on the critical region, then we reject null hypothesis. Kalau dia jatuh dekat sini, we cannot reject null hypothesis for the test value. Do make sure that you understand that, yeah. And then we insert the value here, p hat. Okay, p hat ni for the sample we need to find lah. Okay, share randomly 200 people, found that 42 is obese. That means 42 over 200. Of course you can simplify 21. Okay, 0.21. Jadi 0.21 minus 17, 0.17 divide by, okay, PQ. Q, what is Q? How to find the Q hat? Equals to 1 minus P hat. 1 minus P hat, 1 minus 0.21. 0.21, sorry, it's not P hat. Bukan P hat ni PQ je kan. Jadi 1 minus 0.17 equals to 0.83. Kita ada sini 0.17 times 0.83 divide by n. Ni sampai ke bawah ya. And what is n? N is 200. Then we need to find the value. Kamu tekanlah calculator ya. 0.21 minus 0.17 and the above square root. Kemudian kita ada another fraction 0.17 times 0.83 200. Salah pula. 200 equals to 1.5. 1.51. Jadi 1.51 jatuh dekat mana? Dia jatuh dekat sini ni. Dia jatuh kat sini. Jadi bila jatuh kat situ, dia falls on the non-critical region, H null. We cannot reject null hypothesis. Do not reject null hypothesis sebab dia jatuh dekat non-critical region. Non-critical region. And then you summarize the result lah. Okay. Dia ada 5 steps semua. And then you do lah for the rest. Okay. Up until 8.20. Now we move to the chi-square distribution. For the chi-square distributions, you need to use table G, E, F, G. Okay, chi-square distribution, you need to use table G. I already explained about this one. Jadi please make sure that you understand how to find the chi-square. It quite different, yeah. The technique itself is quite different from how we want to find for table F, table E. Table G itself is quite different. There's no negative here. Table E dengan table F, dia ada negative value because they are in the negative side and the positive side. Now we move to the chi-square distribution. How we want to find out this one is the for the chi-square. We want to use table G. The question itself, the most easiest way to determine to use the chi-square based on the question, if they give you information only on the standard deviation or variance. Jadi kita try to understand the question. The standard deviation for the maths is 100. Variance is 10,000. Instructor wish to see if the variance of the 23 randomly selected student in her school is less than 10,000. The variance for the 23 test score is 7,225. Is there enough evidence to support the claim that the variance of the student in the school less than 10,000 at alpha 0.05? Assume the test score are normally distributed. If we look at this, they doesn't give you any mean. They only give you the variance. Variance there, variance here. You need to find the critical region lah. Also sama, test value also the similar. Here, kita baca sekali lagi lah. Standard deviation for math test is 100. Variance 10,000. Wish to see if the variance 20 is less than 10,000. Kan? Perkataan ni very important. Kalau tak ada less, tak ada greater, then we assume not equal. Kalau tak ada less, tak ada greater, then we assume not equal. But the question itself have less. Dia ada perkataan less tu. Jadi maksudnya dia on the left tail. Left tail, bahagian kiri. Standard deviation. Okay. test. The variance is 10,000. Variance is 10,000. And then 23 randomly selected. 23 less than 10,000. The variance for 23 test score is, ni untuk sampel ya, sebab tu kita using S. The variance ada square kat sini, kamu pasti kamu bezakan lah. Okay, alpha 0.05. Okay, first of all we need to write the hypothesis. The variance equals to 10,000. The variance less than 10,000. Bila less than 10,000 ni dia left tail. Okay, bila dia left tail, dia ada kawasan sini, chi-square left. Okay, alpha dia berapa? Alpha dia 0.05. Jadi the area here is 0.05. The area is 0.05, and then we cannot use this 0.05. Kita kena guna kawasan sini. Okay, why we use that area? Because in the graph itself, dia bagi kawasan sini, dia tak bagi kawasan sini. Jadi nak tak nak, macam mana keadaan pun, kita kena dapatkan this area. We need to find this area. Jadi this one is area. Bila area, dia kena ada degree of freedom. df equals to n minus 1 equals to 23 minus 1, 22. We have 22 here. And then alpha dia berapa tadi? 0.95. Alpha dia 0.95. Kita dapatlah 12.338. 12.338 equals to 12.338. Okay, boleh ya. Kamu jangan confuse pula. Yang lain semua ni, yang ni dia lebih kepada Z score ni. Dalam ni adalah Z, bukan Z, ni T. Ni T dekat sini, ni T score ni. Okay, yang kat dalam ni untuk kawasan ni. Tapi yang atas ni, yang ini dalam ni adalah area. Dia berbeza. Dalam ni dia area untuk table E. Yang ini dalam ni adalah untuk garis X axis. Yang dalam ni juga adalah untuk X axis. Okay, kat bawah ni, yang kat bawah ni dah conteng teruk sangat dah. Okay, yang kat bawah ni. Jadi alpha ni area dia lah. Yang sini pun adalah area dia. Area dia. Okey. Jadi kita ada 12.338. Kemudian we need to find the test value. N minus 1. N, what is N? 23. Okay, minus 1. Kemudian the variance for the sample is 7225 divide by, ini darab lah ya, by the standard deviation for, variance for the population 10,000. Kamu jangan pergi kuasa 2 lagi pula dah. Duk pergi kuasa 2 pula kan. We have 22 times 7225. Kenapa 22? Ni 23 minus 1, 22 lah. Divide by 1000. 10,000. 15.895. Dia jatuh kat kawasan mana? Dia depan sini. Okey. Sini area sini adalah area untuk H null. Sini adalah area untuk critical region H1. Jadi yang ini adalah untuk critical region. H1 ni adalah non-critical region. Jadi dia jatuh dekat sini ni. Jatuh dekat sini, kawasan sini. Jadi we fail to reject null hypothesis. Okay, we fail to reject null hypothesis. Not enough evidence to support the variation, the claim. And then you do lah for 8.25, 8.26. Okay, find the p-value. P-value ni you can try to learn by yourself lah ya. Kalau tak boleh nanti saya tunjuk lah. Tapi p-value method ni adalah untuk kita buat SPSS, so that we have the basic understanding about the p-value. If not, then using the normal lah, normal like this. Okay, we finish chapter berapa ni? Chapter 8, hypothesis testing. Okay, hypothesis testing. As a summarization, saya nak summarize, nak make a conclusion here. Kita ada here, kita ada Z test, kemudian kita ada T test, kemudian kita ada proportion yang akan guna Z test, kemudian kita ada chi-square test. Jadi nak beza macam mana, yang ini dia 30 and above. Okay, 30 and above. Below than 30, we using the N test. Kalau Z test ni dia melibatkan proportion. Kalau chi-square ni dia akan melibatkan variant. Jadi that's how we decide what formula for test value. What formula we use for test value. For Z test ni kita ada formula dia lah tu kan. Contohnya Z equals to X minus dengan min divide by square root N. Okay, kemudian T test lebih kurang lah. Kemudian P ni pun sama juga, dia ada formula dia. Chi-square pun ada formula dia. Kemudian macam mana nak cari critical region, critical value. Untuk Z test ni kita guna table E. Kalau T test ni kita guna table F. Kalau P ni kita guna table E. Kalau chi-square ni kita guna table G. Okey, dalam table E, dalam table E, yang tepi ni adalah dia punya Z. Tepi ni dia punya Z. Yang dekat dalam ni adalah area, iaitu alpha. Dalam dia adalah alpha. Okey, dalam dia adalah area. Kalau untuk table F, kita tak perlu dah tengok untuk yang one tail, two tail. Directly kita boleh guna one tail or two tail. Dan dekat dalam ni dia punya Z. Z pula lah, dia punya T. Okay, T dia here. Okay, area ni yang atas ni, sama ada dia one tail, two tail, ni area. Ni area. Kemudian untuk table G, area dekat atas ni. Okay, area kat atas ni, yang kat dalam ni adalah yang X axis ni, chi-square ni, value of chi-square pada X axis. Okay, that's all lah from this chapter mana tadi? Chapter 8, hypothesis testing.